I will be in today's video, OMG, reviewing the ABH Norvina Mini Volume 2 Eyeshadow Palette. So if you want to know if I recommend this product and everything that you need to know about a product, then continue watching. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified every time that I post a video. So let's get into this makeup tutorial / review right away. Hello beauties! So first, before we start the video, I want to give a shout out to WeThrift, which is a brand where you can go on their website and they have a bunch of different codes to get money off for skincare, beauty, makeup, and everything. So on different websites, you can have a lot of discounts. So you can go check it out. Everything will be listed down below. And we will jump right into this ABH Norvina palette. For the review of this Anastasia Beverly Hills Mini Volume 2 palette, of course, we will talk about the packaging, we will talk about the price, we will talk about the pigment, how they blend, if there's a lot of kickback in the pan, if there's fallout, and hopefully there's not because my face is already done. Yeah, so if you want to get all this information, of course there's going to be some timestamps down below, and we will get right into it right away. Alrighty, colorful ABH. It is the first time ever that I try ABH Norvina's eyeshadow palette. Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows I never tried before, so I am so excited to see if I am going to fall in love with this product. So first, of course, the packaging. I do believe that this packaging is so cute, especially this box. I think it's so summery, which is why I got this one in particular. I just was intrigued also about by the colors, the oranges, the greens, and I think it was just a nice mix overall. So let's open this packaging. The box by itself is very nice and sturdy, and when you open it up, there is 2 items in this package. There is the Mini Volume 2, and then you have the mini eye primer as well inside. The palette is very much stuck in there, and the mini eye primer as well. So of course, the mini eye primer, I already did a review on this, so if you want to go check it out, it's going to be listed down below and up here, so you can go check it out. But I absolutely love it. I will be opening up the package for the first time of this palette and feeling the eyeshadow also for the first time. I think I swatched it like a couple of times in a Sephora, but I don't actually remember if I liked it or not. So I just like, you know. So of course, one thing that I really like about this packaging is it in the little cardboard box, there is another cardboard, which is the black one, and it protects the eyeshadow palette. It is like literally all around it. It is stuck in there, and then when you get it out, the packaging is literally the same as the little box and the big box as well. And you open up the little palette, of course, and there's a plastic on top of the eyeshadow, which protects the eyeshadows. Those eyeshadows are really beautiful. The only thing that I have to say maybe is the shade C2, which is that green shimmery shade. You know, it's kind of broken a little bit at the top, so maybe during the transport people weren't careful with the package. It was moving a lot. That's only one thing, but it's not broken at all. It's just, you know, you're losing a few chunks of your eyeshadow and you're like, okay, like overall the shadows are so beautiful. These two, like B1 and C1, are like extremely neon and bright. The way that it goes from A, B to C, A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. So it's really easy to go around. You don't have to look for names. You just have to know the letter and the number. We will jump right to the price. So on the Anastasia Beverly Hills website, this bundle with the mini eye primer and the eyeshadow palette, it was around $49 Canadian, I think. So this bundle is $49, but the eyeshadow by itself on the Sephora website is another price, is $38 Canadian for only the palette. And also if it is on sale right now on the Sephora website for $26.50. So if you wanted any of the Mini Norvina palettes, they are on sale right now. Of course, I want to show you some swatches, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so here are the swatches. Of course, the first row is the first A, A1, A2, A3. So the shade A2 has a little bit more of like fallout in the pan, even when I swatch it, so you have to be careful with that. Also, when you go to the second row, so B1, B2, and B3, those shadows really really swatch beautifully. We have to see what it does on the eye. And then the third row, which is C1, C2, and C3. Again, the pink shade is a little bit more patchy on the swatch. C2 has a little bit of more chunk to the eyeshadow, which is that shimmer, and then C3 is just absolutely beautiful and so creamy. So some of the shades they feel kind of dry on the hands, but they are still very, very pigmented. So of course, like, you can't really judge an eyeshadow based on a swatch. You have to try it out on the eyes. Of course, I'm going to be starting off with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Mini Eye Primer. So I'm going to be applying this to my eyes to prime my lids. So we are ready to roll for the eyeshadows, and then we will continue with the eyeshadow look. Also, I want to say before I start the eyeshadow look, there are some things that are important. I know I have a little bit of primer on my eyes, but yeah. So then the weight of it is 1 gram each, so 1 gram per eyeshadow. So you have 9 pans, 9 different full-size pans, and they are 1 gram each. Also, I want to point out some shades that you're not supposed to be putting on the immediate eye area in these shadows. So of course, there is the shade A3, which is that light orange. You have the shade B1, which is that bright orange. The shade C1, which is that really deep pink. Have that B2 that you cannot put near the eye area. So you have to be careful with this. Like, near eye area, like on your waterline, never put that there because it might be very irritating. Let's blend this before it dries completely and like it's stuck there, because I know it dries and it stays there. So alrighty, so we are up close and it is time now to jump into the palette. Okay, we might do like green and orange, so let's do this. I need my brushes. Right, I'm ready to roll. I was literally looking for some brushes that have the same shades as this. So I'm gonna go with a little packer brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade, the green, deep green shade, which is called B3. I'm gonna pack it, and then we will see if it does fall out, if there's any problems with it. So I'm just gonna put it right here. And as I can see, first off, there is some kickback in the pan. So I would say, like, if you're using these eyeshadows, just really pat lightly into the pan. Don't like go overboard, because you're gonna lose a lot of pigment. I feel like you don't need a lot of pigment to see that beautiful, like, wow, like beautiful pigmentation. I'd have to go buy these eyeshadows that are on sale right now. Like, come on. As you can see, it didn't take much effort, and I already have the shape, which I'm like, this looks good. Like, this looks really good. Of course, we have to test out if it blends. And I'm bringing it back a little bit in like this. So this looks pretty good already, and I'm being very light in the pan. For now, this shadow is so pigmented, but there's a lot of fallout. So if you're like bothered by fallout, this might be like a no-no for you. This shadow is placed, it builds beautifully, it looks very nice. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the same brush, and I'm gonna be just like smudging it just a tiny bit to see how well it blends by itself. As you can see, it does blend pretty well, and then I'm sure we're gonna try it. We're gonna add another shade, which is gonna be that light green on top. So now I'm gonna take the shade, which is called A2, and I'm gonna put it on top of it and then blend it into the deep green, which is B3. All right, so this shade is a little bit more on the patchy side, and there is a lot of kickback in the pan. I have to like remove the excess all the time. It does patches a little bit in these areas, but it's still nice to blend. It's just, it's not the most beautiful color, and around here it doesn't want to blend properly into the other greens, so maybe you want to go back and forth with these colors. Just gonna take a little pencil brush. So as you can see here, it has a harder time to just stay there. Right, so I went back and forth with the color. I'm gonna take that pastel shade, which is that really light yellow, and I'm gonna be placing it right around here just to blend everything out into my skin, and I think it's gonna look very pretty. And also, I'm gonna always give you my feedback on how the shadows perform. So after a little bit of work, of course, those two eyeshadows, the green ones, they do blend really well. And yeah, that's what I have to say. So they blend really well, and there's not a lot of fallout on the skin. Of course, there's a little bit of kickback in the pan as always, but that can be managed by itself. So again, a lot of fallout. And then I'm just placing it very carefully by tapping off the excess. And then I can blend the rest out on the side. And this yellow is very light. You're gonna be able to see it. And it does blend everything out very softly. So I like how it blends into the other eyeshadows and how it lays on top of the green one. Because, you know, sometimes when you layer different eyeshadows, it can become ashy. But this one does not become ashy. Here, it does stay in the same place, and if you like leave it there a little bit and then you blend it back, it does move. Because you know some eyeshadows, when you place them there and then after that you want to blend them, they just stay there. It doesn't do that with these eyeshadows. And you can see the light pastel yellow, and I like that these shades are there because it's very easy to blend out into the skin. So these shades are very buildable. You can build up the shade to the intensity you want. You can have it very light, you can have it really pigmented if you want. So that's what I did. I think it looks pretty nice. The blend is nice. I noticed also that fluffier brush, it is easier to blend these shadows. So if you have like a pencil brush that is harder, it's going to be harder to blend the eyeshadows. So that's one thing that you want to keep in mind when you are using these shadows in particular in this palette. I just wanted to point it out. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to be taking this light and dark orange. So the shade A3 and B1, we're gonna put it in the middle of the lid where there is nothing there. So I'm gonna be packing these shades and showing you the full pigment, if it's patchy or anything. I'm testing without cutting the crease because I want to know if people that don't like to do cut creases, if they can still create these looks. And these are pressed pigments as well. There is a little bit of kickback in the pan. Then I take back the pale shade and then we blend those two together. They pack very nice. And I think first what I'm going to do is I'm going to be applying a little bit of the yellow shade, which is A1. And I'm going to be applying it right here, just like that. And as you can see, it's pretty pigmented, you know. Just blend everything out. And it looks like a sunset. It's very nice. Right, so now that these shades are placed, I want to bring the shade A1 also on the lower lash line to see what it does. And we will go into that shimmery beige shade, golden brown shade, and then we will go into the shade C3, which is that deep chocolate brown shade. So let's go in it right now. And now I'm gonna go into that brown chocolatey shade. And I didn't go into that brown yet, so we're gonna see what happens. Shadows blend so well, it's incredible. All right, and then we will place that little shimmer shade B2 right here. Right, so that's what the look looks like. I tried to use as much shade as I can. Of course, I went a little bit into this one, but you can't really see it. It did blend pretty well, the 2 matte shade together. It does a nice transition. I didn't use the C1 and the C2, which are really good color. When I showed you the swatches, they were really good. But yeah, I was feeling like I wanted to go full on package mode. So this is what it is. Tell me what you think about the eye look. Do you think that it blended well? In the comments. I'm gonna go finish off. So that means I'm gonna be putting my mascara and my lashes, and I will be right back. Also, if you have any questions about the other products that I used today on my face for this full face of makeup, it's gonna be all listed down below. So I will be right back after everything is finished. All right, so I am back. I put a little bit of white liner in my waterline. I put my lashes, and let me tell you, this is literally, I am telling you right now, this is the favorite look that I've done in a long time. I just love it. I just love like how many color there is. I just love how crazy it is too, like it contrasts and everything. And yeah, so let's talk, me talking about the look, okay? We need to talk about the eyeshadow palette right now. I have to say things about the eyeshadows. Every single one of them very blended well, except for maybe the shade C3, which is that chocolate brown. It was harder to lay down under the eye and to blend, so it was a little bit more messy than all of the other shades. So that might be just because of the placement where I was putting it. I would have to try it out maybe on the upper lid and see what it would look like and how it would blend. Other than that, you know, like blending out the edges and everything, it was really good. It's just really like how it was building up, it wasn't as buildable as I would like it to be at first. I had to work a little bit more on that C3 shade, but overall, like, it looks very nice. It blended well with the yellow, it blended well with the other shades, so I have nothing to say about it other than that. Shimmer shade, it was really nice. Of course, you don't really see the shimmer where I placed it. When I do place it on my hand, it is a very, very light shimmer. It's almost like a matte shade, but with a little bit of reflection in it. So you could mistake it almost for a matte shade if you want to have it in transition between the A1 and the C3. So that's what I did, and it looks pretty matte to me. It might add a little bit of shine under the eye when the light hits it. But other than that, it's not the most like shimmery, like glittery shade that you will have, but that's how it was built. Other than that, the green shades, they did blend pretty well. Of course, they are a little bit more on the drier side when you touch them. They're not as buttery and creamy, but they do blend very well. When you add them on top of the other ones, they blend very well. And a little trick, it is better to blend these eyeshadow with a fluffy brush. If you're trying with a hard pencil brush, for example, like the M431, it will be harder and it will leave like streaks and patches. So make sure to blend your eyeshadows with a fluffy brush so the blend is very seamless and fluffy, soft. I don't know how to say it. So the yellow shade, the shade A1, which is that one right here, it looks very well. It blends well with all of the shades that are in the palette. As you can see, it blended into the orange, it blended into the green. So these shades look very good. It is buildable. As you can see in the inner corner how bright it is, even though it looks not that like bright in the pan, it looks bright in the inner corner. And it looks more faded on the side because I wanted more of a faded look. So of course they are buildable as well. Orange shades that I used on my eye. So these orange shades, I had to pack them for a longer period of time compared to the other shades, and they are still good. They look very good. The orange looks very bright. It looks a little bit darker on my eyes. It might be the base. Usually they might or they might not look the same on the eye, but they are still very bright. It blended well with the other orange, so the shade B1 and A3, they blend well together and they blend well into the yellow as well. Like, my final thoughts about this product is I love it. I think it's the best palette that I have in my collection, which I was on the fence of receiving this one at first because I was like, you know, like, it's not a super wearable palette. It's more like, okay, like crazy colors. But when you look at it that way, the orange can be wearable because you can build it up. You can be very light or you can be very intense. So the pink can be wearable because you can have it very lightly on your eye with the brown. There's the shimmer brown, the yellow and the orange, the light ones, they can be very wearable on a day-to-day basis. And even when you have like brown eyes, which I don't have brown eyes, but if you do, the green shades would look absolutely stunning on you. That's what I have to say, you know. So do I recommend this palette? Yes, I do. Okay, like, this palette is really, really good. So tell me what you think down below. If you have any Norvina or anything ABH palettes, tell me down below, and which one is your all-time favorite eyeshadow palette, whatever the brand is. And if you have one from ABH, tell me which one is the best one that you have in your collection down below. So that's what it is. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment down below, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see more of these awesome videos. So I post 5 videos a week, Monday through Friday. And if you don't want to miss any videos again, subscribe and hit the bell so you will be notified every single time, even when I do lives occasionally. So I really, really love you, beauties, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, beauties.